Have you ever experienced the phenomenon of telling someone that you are in some way disappointed by your birth experience and having them tell you, well, at least you have a healthy baby? Okay, while those people are, they're truly, they mean well. They're just trying to cheer you up and they're not trying to discount your feelings. But unfortunately, by telling somebody, well, don't worry about it, at least you have a healthy baby, that is discounting your emotions. And the thing is, you have every right to feel disappointment or anger or frustration at how your birth experience played out, even if you and your baby are perfectly healthy. Your emotions are still valid and you deserve the right to have them acknowledged and to give yourself the space to work through them. And something else that is somewhat portrayed by that, well, at least you have a healthy baby, is this whole idea that like you don't really have a right to have like hopes and dreams about your birth experience. Like birth is so unknown. You should just take it how it comes and just be grateful for the baby at the end. I don't totally agree with that because I think that, making birth preferences, preparing, having some hopes and wishes for how the birth is going to play out actually helps you have a more positive experience. I mean, yes, of course, the unknown happens during birth. We cannot control a lot of it. We don't know what's going to happen, but putting in that positive forethought and that preparation can do wonders for not just the birth experience itself, but your experience during pregnancy. You could have such a brighter pregnancy by putting in the work to craft a birth experience that you feel good about. And so, for example, if you're in birth and you feel pressured to make a decision that you don't feel good about, or you make a decision that later you're like, shoot, like I wish I would have done it this way. There's all sorts of things that can lead to us feeling a little bit bummed out about our birth experience. Or maybe you have a care provider that totally disregarded needlessly all of your preferences and you're mad. All of that is so incredibly valid. So, how do we work through it? Because, of course, you don't want to feel bummed out about your birth experience. You don't want to feel angry. You don't want to feel irritated at least you have a healthy baby, people. You want to feel good. So, one of the first things that you can do is allow yourself to feel those emotions. Give yourself, an hour in a private space every day to cry, to rage, to write, to start to work out what it is you're feeling about your birth experience, why you're bummed. The next thing to do is to talk to somebody that was at your birth, because it's really common for women that are going through labor to forget so many different details about the birth experience. So you might be bummed about something that you're not even like consciously aware of. So talking with somebody that can take you step by step through your birth and help you remember everything that happened can be really illuminating and help you figure out what's actually going on. And the next thing, once you know why you're upset, once you're feeling the feelings, is to seek out a loved one or a therapist. If you are seeking out a friend or family member, really tune into your intuition about somebody that will support you through those emotions. Again, if you feel like your mother-in-law, for example, or your sister will be like, oh, don't worry about it, just brush off those emotions, that's probably not the best person to talk to. But if you have a girlfriend who you're like, you know what, they'll get it. They'll listen to me. They'll support me through what I'm going through, and they'll hear me out. They'll be an active listener. That would be a great person to talk to. And again, a therapist is always an easy choice. And then the next thing, if you do express your disappointment to somebody, and you are met with somebody just trying to brush it off or try to convince you that you shouldn't be upset, resist the urge to agree with them, because especially as women, so many of us, we've been taught to want to agree with everybody and make everybody comfortable. And so it's almost second nature, at least for me. I'll speak for myself. I want to make somebody feel comfortable. So if they're like, you should just feel this way, I'm like, oh yeah, you're probably right. And then later I'm like, I don't agree with that at all. So don't discount your own feelings in that moment by agreeing with that person. You can say, oh, okay, I hear you. That's your opinion. And you don't have to make them feel uncomfortable, but you don't have to say, oh, yeah, you're right. You do not have to do that. You can stand up for your feelings and remind yourself that there is absolutely nothing wrong with you being bummed out about your birth experience, and allowing yourself the space to work through that story, to process that story, can actually help to diminish some of the postpartum blues you might potentially be feeling. So again, you have every right to work through that disappointing birth story. And so often, once you work through it, you're able to come out on the other side with a more clear emotional canvas. I hope this is helpful. I would love to be somebody that hears about your birth experience that might not have gone how you had wanted. I would love to offer you support. So leave your story in the comments below, or go ahead and email me at the email address below.